Hey guys, so today I'm going to be unboxing the Artillery3D Sidewinder X4 Plus. I believe they added an S1 somewhere along the line, but I don't see it on their website at the moment. I paid for this out of my own pocket. It was around $249 plus tax, free shipping. And so let's go ahead and get into it. And that's when I decided to just go ahead and do a voiceover on this because we need to shorten this video up a little bit. And so I did a lot of clipping. So of course we open up the box. We're going to pull out the tools and such that comes with it. Filament sensor, 3D resonance compensation module, of course the literature on how to assemble it. It's going to be the LCD screen, the filament holder. And of course, remove the packing material. Start removing those carbon fiber rods. This is for stability. And pull out the gantry, of course, so we can get to the main body of it, the power cord. And of course, the main body has to come out. And after opening up the bag and pulling it out, it was a matter of getting it set up to put the gantry on it. Of course, you have to remove the zip ties. That way everything's loosened up, so we can move the gantry up. And that's a matter of installing the screws, 2 screws on each side, and it's just a good idea to just install them loosely. That way you can tighten them up afterward. If otherwise you tighten everything up, it's going to be a pain. And once that's all set up, it's time to go to the wiring. You have to remove these little plastic pieces from the motors and then start installing everything. And you do that on both sides. And then there's going to be a 2-pin connector and there's going to be a 3-pin connector that needs to be connected. There's also going to be an additional connector that is used for the 3D resonance compensation, which we will do later. Then it's just a matter of installing this bracket to hold the LCD screen, which is going to be a magnetic one, and install the Wi-Fi antenna, and of course the screen. Install our filament sensor onto the spool holder, and then mount that on top of the gantry. On this part, the taped portion where the 2 wires kind of separate there, that needs to go inside that little clip on the back of the machine, and then bring the wire on the inside of the gantry and click it into place on the hot end. And it's time to install the 2 carbon fiber rods and remove the packing material from underneath the bed. And be sure to remove that paper from the bed, and then now let's get into setup. Okay guys, this is where I've got to be 100% honest with you. We are now sitting at about, it's been about 2 weeks now. And the reason why I'm redoing this portion of the video is because, first off, the file got corrupted. Second off, I had some issues when I very first did this, and I was just kind of stupid about how I did it, and I want to do it the right way, so I'm not telling people how to do things wrong. One thing you're going to want to do when you get any of these printers in is go through with an Allen wrench and check every one of these bolts here, every one of the bolts there. Just make sure everything's nice and tight. Once you know that's all good, then you want to continue on to the next step. Now, the last one on the original video was where I removed the packing material. You also want to remove the paper from the build plate. So this is a magnetic build plate, which is really cool because you can take your prints off a lot easier. We'll get into that in the future. So the first thing we're going to want to do is take a normal piece of printing paper. This is just 20 pounds. You can use whatever you want. And what we're going to do is we're going to go into the calibration portion of it. Now what I have done, because this is the second time I have done this, I did a factory reset on it so we can go through this together. First thing is going to be the Z offset. So what we're going to do is in our screen here, we're going to go to Set, Calibration, then we're going to go to Z offset. Make sure that the nozzle is clean, which I have. Go to next step. It's going to go through its homing process. There we go. So the next thing that's going to happen is going to pop up this screen. This is for setting up the Z offset. You want to take your paper, move it back and forth. In my case, there is absolutely no resistance whatsoever. You want a very slight drag. So what you're going to do is start hitting the down on this until you start feeling some kind of tension, some kind of resistance. Okay, I am currently at 0.77. I'm feeling drag there. So I'm going to go ahead and go up. I'm now at a 0.76. I'm going to go 0.75, 0.74. And this is vary from machine to machine. This is not going to be the same for you as it is for me. Okay, right there, I'm just feeling the lightest of drag. I would rather it be too loose than to be too tight. Nice round number, 69. There we go. That's going to be my magic number on this particular machine, at least for this first round. So then you're going to go complete first completed, next step. Now what's going to do is it's going to do this maybe about 3 times. So it's going to save. Once it saves, it's going to restart. See, it raises back up, rehomes, and that's going to go right back. So now it's back homed again. Now, I don't have any tension at all on that. So I'm going to go ahead and go down. Go down. Okay, have the slightest amount of drag right there. Just go back up a little bit. I'm going to be happy with it right there. So that's a 73. Now if I take it back to 69 now, which is where we were when we first started this, it's way too loose. So something changed in that homing that made it be just a little bit different. We're going to call that 72 on this one. So once again, we complete that step. It's going to go through the same process one more time at least. Okay, so I'm feeling the slightest amount of drag there. I'm going to be happy with that. Remember, I want it to be a little bit looser than I want it to be tight. Ask me how I know. And that's because I did it too tight the first time and I could hear the nozzle dragging on the bed. We definitely don't want that. Okay, so once that is completed, we're done with that portion. Now we can do auto leveling. Now this does not have knobs underneath it, so we're going to use the mesh leveling on this one. In this case, we want to go ahead and remove the paper. We're done with the paper. That was just for the Z offset. Everything else now is up to the printer. So what it is going to do right now is it is going to heat up the bed. Once the bed is heated up, it's going to heat up the nozzle. And I believe the nozzle heats up about 160. The bed's going to heat up to 60. The bed's going to take a little while to heat up. I've never looked into it, but I'm pretty sure the bed is going to be either a 24 volt bed or something. It's definitely not going to be mains power, otherwise it would heat up way faster than it does. It is slow to heat up, but it maintains its temperature very well. So I will be back with you as soon as it's back up to temperature. Okay, so now the bed has reached 58 degrees. As you can hear, the fan kicked on the unit, and you notice that the hot end now is starting to heat up. Now it's going to go up to 210. I believe it does drop down to 160 if I remember right. Okay, so now it's reached 210 degrees. The bed is now homing itself. Everything's homing. You can see there everything is heated up to the right temperature. It's going to do its Z offset. Now that Z offset we did is what creates the mesh leveling for the whole unit. I'm not exactly sure how it works. I'm guessing it has to do with maybe voltage or something that's sensing. Here's another cool thing, is it does this wipe back here on the silicone pad at the back of the bed to make sure there's no boogers or anything at the bottom of the nozzle. And then the next thing it'll do is it will start its leveling process. And it is a 36 point leveling sequence. And then, just as I was telling you, it is going to drop down to 160 degrees. And then once it drops down to 160, it'll start its process. Now, if you notice, there are times where most of the time it does 2 touches and it moves on. And then there's points where it does way more than 2 touches. I'm guessing that's when it's detecting something that's where it's having to make account for a difference in the bed level, is what I'm guessing. I do not know, but I do find it very interesting that it's only every so often it finds a point where it has to touch more than twice. Once it completes, it's going to pop this message up. We're going to finish it. It's going to save its calibration. There we go. The next thing we want to do is the resonance compensation. So let me get the unit here and I'll show you how that's set up. So let me start by taking you over here. Now I mentioned earlier there was a connector that does not attach to anything back here. That is what the resonance compensation unit is going to connect to. And what we're going to do is we're going to take the end of the cord. Now the unit itself consists of this 3D printed unit called a resonance compensation. It's magnetic. It has this cord that comes with it. The one end connects into the compensator, or the sensor, I guess you call it. The other end is what's going to plug in back here at the back. I'm going to try to do this one-handed, but I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to. I'm not going to be able to get that. Well, maybe I will. Will I? Yep, got it in there. Okay. So next thing we're going to do, the first one is going to be on this up here. So let me figure the best way to route it really quick. I know I'm going to have to tie it somehow because we don't want this to come loose while it's doing its test. So give me just a moment. So I was looking for a zip tie. I was looking for a bread wrapper that was long enough. I couldn't find anything. But what I did find was the one thing that makes the whole world stick together. Some duct tape. This is just going to be for this test, just to get us through this. I just want to make sure it doesn't fall off or anything while it's performing this test, and I will show you shortly why I'm worried about it. We're just going to do that. I think that will be good enough. I think we're going to be all right. I just want to make sure that back part doesn't get hung up on the bed or anything. So now that that's in place, and I'm fairly sure that's going to be all right, we're going to go over here to resonance compensation. We're going to do the X compensation, and then we're going to start it. Yeah, I'm already worried about the way that just worked. I don't want to move it, so I'm just going to leave it alone at the moment. Maybe the test hasn't quite started yet. See how it's shaking? I don't know if you can see that. That's just nuts to me. And that is completed. I'm going to go ahead and call that test good because it didn't move a whole lot. I think the test was just while it was doing that shaking. So we're just going to hope that that's what that was. Once that's done saving, the next step is going to be on the bed. So I'm going to go ahead and remove that tape. If I do that in the future, I will wrap it completely around it to make sure. Now this one, I have messed up a few times. You don't want to put it at the front, at the back, in the middle of the bed. You want to put it more over here in the front. Now, according to the photos and everything, it does not look like. Let's see if I have it over here on this one. It doesn't appear it needs to be completely straight on the bed. So I am going to take, and you know what, I will bring it the back. Well, I don't want it to get hung up on the nozzle or anything that way. Let's just do it right there. Just add a little bit of tape once again, just to make sure nothing gets bumped around. I think it should be all right. We're going to go ahead and choose Y compensation. Am I going to be in trouble? No, I'm not. Okay. Now, the very first time I did this, I had it setting right there. And I freaked out right just before it hit it, so I pulled it away. So that's the reason why I don't mind redoing this whole thing again, because I know it did not capture everything quite right. And then, of course, it's going to start shaking the unit. I think that's shaking the camera. Sorry about that. It's shaking everything. Joe, the 3D printing professor, was the one that told me about all the newer printers, I guess, have this test that they do in order to help get rid of ringing and such like that from the prints. I don't know if you can hear it, it's still going. It sounds like it stopped then. And that we're all set. We're going to call that good, save it, and then I'm going to go ahead and power the unit off in order to disconnect that cable, because I don't know if that's going to affect anything or not, but just to be on the safe side, that's what I'll do before I disconnect it. Okay, now that the machine's back on, we're going to load the filament by going to Set, Load. We're going to select Feed right there. There we go. It's going to heat back up here. We're going to go ahead and place our filament right there. And this one doesn't have anything like I'm used to. I'm used to being able to move a little deal to the side and it will feed on its own, or being feed in manually. Now it's all automatic. I don't know how I feel about that, but as you can see, we have filament coming out the bottom. Now, here's my problem. When I very first started this printer up, I was able to do a 3D print as a Benchy that was on their this USB drive. Where did I put it at? It's here somewhere. I had it right here. Anyway, I had that drive in it. I printed the Benchy that they had sliced. It printed in like 24 minutes, 25 minutes. I posted it on X at the time. It was a really fast print. And then I took the USB drive, plugged it into the computer to, oh yeah, here it is right here. It looks like that. This is what came with it. I put that into my computer. It said there's a problem with it. It took and it wanted to fix it. It fixed whatever the problem was with it. I put it back in this to try to print that same model, and all it kept doing was something like this, and it just kept stepping forward every layer. It would not print one layer on top of the other. I since have created a Cura profile, was able to print just fine. So now, when I print at 300 millimeters per second, which is what it says it's supposed to be able to, you know, it does, it takes me like 45 minutes for it to print. So I'm guessing the one that they sliced was 500 millimeters per second, which is like the limit of what this machine will do. So I did slice a new file. Since that one is corrupted, I can't do that their version of it. I did slice a 500 millimeter per second file. Let's see how fast that one will print. Kira says it takes an hour and something. I don't believe Kira. Kira has no idea how fast these machines print, apparently. So what we're going to do now is go to Home. We're going to go to Print. We're going to go to 3D Benchy. And let's see what happens. Okay, so despite going with a 0.24 layer height and going 500 millimeters per second print speed with slowing down to 250 for outside perimeters and such, it still should come out about 41 minutes on this particular one. But it looks really nice. Yeah, there's some defect right there. You can see that right there. Definitely did not turn out as good as the other ones, so I definitely want to knock the speed down to about 300 millimeters per second. Now, this was the one that their file printed, and you know, it's got a little sagging there in the doorway. The stove smokestack on it doesn't have the hole in it. I think they modified the model to print faster, because they did this in like 20 some minutes. And then this is the one that I did with 300 millimeters per second. Came out a lot cleaner looking. It doesn't have the sagging in that part. You can definitely see the hole in the smokestack. It turned out pretty good. Definitely turned out better than both of them. Look better than this one. This one came out looking kind of bad, but still a successful print. I mean, it didn't sag. It's got the hole in the smokestack. Other than that little bit of defect right there, which is because it was just printing way too fast. Probably have to turn up the heat on the filament. Anyway, guys, so that's pretty much the assembly and first print on this printer. One thing I do want to go over: make sure if you do get this printer, where the tape is on these cables, that's where this metal bracket holds it. Same on the back side. I glossed over that during the voiceover, but there is a bracket right here that holds. Let's see if I can get that where you can see it better. I can't do it. I can't get it around there. Anyway, that's the little bracket right there that holds that, and it's where it's all taped up. So pretty much you just place the tape in the brackets and you're good to go. Guys, thank you so much for watching. And we'll hopefully have some more videos out shortly on this. And I'm loving it. I've already been printing out a few other things. Kind of a sneak peek. One of those dragon eggs that you unscrew. That video I should have out hopefully within the next day or so. And of course, I got a few other things I'm going to be printing. But guys, thank you so much for watching. Take care, and I will catch you in the next one.